Good morning, beloveds, and welcome to Unity of Bellevue. This is the place where we know and we practice the spiritual truth that there is only one life. That life is God's life. It is the very life that we live and lead right here and right now. We are all about waking up to that truth. We are all about being present to that greater awareness, to that energetic, and we are all about loving God, growing in spiritual understanding, and serving the greater good. So that's the virtual room you've walked into this morning. Welcome. I'm Reverend Marla Mason. I am grateful to be able to welcome you this Thanksgiving week. Thursday is a day that, it is our tradition to really get conscious about gratitude. So I'm asking you what you're grateful for today. Let's get conscious about gratitude. This is important because, we talk about gratitude as a causative source. We know that in our teaching, consciousness is cause. As we interact with the world around us, our experience is created by our consciousness, by how we are in relationship to what's happening, what we think about it, what we feel about it. Gratitude is a consciousness that is powerfully creative. We don't give thanks for something that already happened. We give thanks for something that already happened and for something that is, knowing that awareness is a creative force for more good in our lives. So what are you grateful for today? Mandy says she's grateful for this service. Susan says, I'm grateful for this spiritual community and the support it has provided in my life. Me too, both y'all. For me, I am so grateful to be with you this morning. Put your attention on what you're grateful for and just watch how your insides change. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more later this morning. All month long, we're talking about our theme this month is Dare to Be. And when I'm talking about Dare to Be, I'm talking about how do we dare to be greater than we already believe we are. Our guide is the Daring Greatly book by Brene Brown. And today we're specifically talking about choosing transformation. How do we choose a transformation in consciousness such that we manifest a greater good in the world? There are some folks in service to everything we are about this morning, and I'm going to introduce them to you right now. Thank you, Susan Neidig, for a powerful meditation service this morning. I am so grateful for you. In that spirit of gratitude, let me say how grateful I am for you, both a prayer chaplain, a meditation, a prayer chaplain, a meditation facilitator, and our board president. So grateful for you, Susan, and for your leadership this morning. Susan is also serving as prayer chaplain this morning. That means she'll be leading the prayer circle after the service. Stick around. We'll take about a 3-minute break when the celebration service is over. And then Susan will stand in prayer with and for you. We also have this morning Jean Palmatier. She's our board host. You'll be hearing more from Jean. You'll be hearing more from Jean at the time of the affirmation, at the time of the offering. And thank you, Jean, for standing in the business leadership of our center this morning. Sabrina McFadden is our producer today. Monica is out on vacation, so Sabrina is in. I am super grateful for Sabrina, our youth and family leader, and our volunteer coordinator. Monica may be out the door, but she is giving us our announcements this morning. It only took us 20 months to figure out that even if Monica can't be here, she can record the announcements. So grateful to have her joining us remotely this morning, even though she is on vacation. And finally, today I want to introduce Jean Mann. She is our guest artist this morning. She is new to our community, though she is semi-local. She is a touring artist all over the world and has toured Europe as well. She is a singer, a songwriter. She plays the guitar, she plays the ukulele. She's even got a little harmonica action going there. And we had a little rehearsal with her earlier this week, and I am just grateful for the love and the energy that she brings to her music making. Welcome, Jean Mann. She has an opening song for us.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful to be with you today. This is called Lucky. I used to row the lake on summer nights, tie up to pilings, lay my head on a sweater roll just right, look at stars and drift in the path of the moonlight. I was lucky to land in this place and time. There's a crumbling house torn apart, uncovering the past, revealing the marks. Some are battle scars, one, others a happy lark. They were lucky to land in this place and time. I came around to hear your story. I guess you came round to hear mine. One day we'll write our own chapter. We're lucky to land in this place and time. Tonight I took you out on the lake, tied up to pilings and carved our names, left a mark to remember the days. We were lucky to land in this place and time, and we're lucky, lucky to drift in the path of the moonlight tonight. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, yeah.
And so we turn within as we recognize the infinite presence, and we recognize how deeply and truly blessed we are to land here in this moment, in this place, in this time. For we know that something wonderful is happening and we are smack in the middle of it, for there is a divinity that is expressing divinely in, as, and through us right now. And we open our hearts to this truth, and we make ourselves available to all that is about to unfold this morning, to the music, to the message, to the fellowship we share, and the opportunity to deepen in our spiritual understanding. We are a cosmic and a powerful yes to all that God has for us this day. And so it's in this consciousness that I give thanks for all, and for our willing hearts and our open minds. I open this service knowing it is well done in the mind of God. It is well done right here in our experience. And so it is. Amen. I'm going to read through our affirmation one time. I invite you to just continue in this receptive pose, to continue to simply receive the power and the wisdom of these words. Allow them to permeate your mind and your beingness. I lay aside all fear and step confidently into a deep and abiding peace. I am willing to change. I am willing to be. As I trust that God is good and life is for me, I am transformed. Breathe that in. Feel it and know it. And now join me in speaking these words aloud and with conviction as though they were already true for you, because indeed they are. Join me. I lay aside all fear and step confidently into a deep and abiding peace. I am willing to change. I am willing to be. As I trust that God is good and life is for me, I am transformed. And so it is.
You're just a speck no one can see, flung on the wind with the birds in the trees. Glistening leaf you rest upon, falling flora brings you back down. You land in a field atop a daisy. A girl comes along, plucking love who loves me not. Petals fall one by at least you landed on somebody loves me. Twirling down in the breeze, still you wonder what might have been had you been on the last petal cling. You hit a dandelion, gone to sea. Fluff puffy landing, like the room full of pillows on I dream of Jeannie, blown into the blue on the breath of a boy.
I don't know about you guys, but my heart is feeling super delighted right now. Thank you, Jean, for your music, for your visual art, for your creativity, and for bringing all of that in the most perfect way to our community this morning. I'm so grateful. Yeah, blown around. Anybody feeling blown around lately? Oh my heavens. Hey, yesterday I was making pie crust for Thanksgiving. I usually make it, in advance, and then it's done, and you can actually freeze it for a while, even if you need to. And then on Wednesday, I can actually make my pies, but the hard work is done. But I was remembering as I was making my pie crust yesterday, and I was measuring out the shortening, I was remembering that when I was a little girl, I used to watch my mom and my grandmother make pie crust, and I was always enchanted by the shortening. It's so pristine and white, and it looks so good. It looks kind of like snow. It looks kind of like icing on a cake. It just was so appealing. And I would watch, this stuff get measured out. Of course, my mom, my grandma never measured. I have to measure, but they always just dolloped some out on a big spoon onto the pile of flour, and they were good. But I remember one time when my grandmother turned her back, I just took a little fingerful of the shortening. It just looked so good. And I stuck it in my mouth. And it was not the experience I expected. I expected just sweetness and melty goodness, and what I got was a mouthful of oil and grease, and I couldn't even move it around. And then it was just in my mouth, and even when I kind of spit it out, I couldn't get it out of my mouth, and it really was not a good experience. I'm just saying. And as I was making my pie crust yesterday, I was thinking, life is kind of like that, because here's the thing about shortening. You don't get a good pie crust without it. My pie crust recipe calls for shortening and butter, both. You don't get a good pie crust without that, which, by itself is not that appealing. You got to have the flour. You got to have the salt. Have you ever eaten a spoonful of salt? A spoonful of salt is not a good taste. You got to have a little bit of sugar. Okay, a spoonful of sugar tastes pretty good to me. But flour by itself, no good. Shortening by itself, no good. And you put all of this together, and you add a little bit of liquid, and you mix it up, and you get this amazing, flaky, crunchy, beautiful pie crust that you can fill with all kind of stuff. And next thing you know, you have a whole beautiful pie. And what a lovely metaphor for life that is. Because, I don't know about you, I'm a big fan of pie. I am not a big fan of shortening. Not a good flavor by itself in my mouth. And I am a big fan of loving partnership. And I am not a big fan of those times of conflict. And I'm a big fan of going for walks, and I'm not a big fan of getting wet when it's raining and I've got the dog out on a walk. I'm a big fan of feeling great, and I'm not a big fan of not feeling so good. But life is the light and the dark, what we would think of as heaven and hell, what we would think of as good and bad. And you mix it all up into a pie, and life is delicious, even the dark stuff. If you try and make a pie crust with no shortening, no fat, it's going to be like flour and water. It's going to be like glue, right? It's not going to work. If you try and make a pie with no filling, all you're going to have is pie crust. And here's the thing about the universe. The universe doesn't mind if we put shortening or fat in our pie crust or not. The universe is fine with it. The universe is like, yeah, okay, you don't want to put berries in that pie? You don't have to put berries in that pie. What you're going to have is crust. Right? There's often a debate in my family over whether you should peel the apples that go into the pie crust or not. It's like, peel them or not peel them. It's like, who cares? You do you in the apple pie department. You choose. You do fat or no fat, salt or no salt in your pie crust. You choose. And know that the result is going to be the result. Because when we choose, something follows the choice. And we have an opportunity to choose heaven or, to choose hell. We have the opportunity to choose such that we create an experience of life that is affirming and loving and inclusive and joy-filled. And we have the opportunity to not put shortening in the pie crust and not have a great life experience. But what a lovely idea that I have the power over that in my life. I choose love, I choose inclusion, I choose beauty, I choose joy, I choose self-care, I choose rest, I choose spiritual practice, I choose good company, I choose all of the things that are going to make a pie of life that is delicious and filling and nummy and nourishing. Or I can leave some of that stuff out and have a gloppy little mess of glue on my plate. The power of this idea for me is that whichever I choose, they both lead to transformation. I can choose heaven right now today. I can choose the complete pie recipe today. I may not make that choice, and there's nothing wrong with that. I will learn from both choices. I will learn from making the heaven today choice. I will learn how to choose more heaven today. By choosing hell, and I use that word like as in a life experience that doesn't feel that great or is not life affirming, right? I'm not talking about a place where there's fire and you're going to burn forever because you sinned, because that's not what we believe in, right? I just want to make sure everybody's clear about that. Hell is a worldly experience of a life that doesn't work, a life of separation and a life of duality, a life of lack of self-love, lack of love for others. That's what hell is. And when we make decisions that lead us into this realm of separation and duality, that also leads to transformation. Because whatever we're doing now is yet another opportunity for us to be called to a bigger idea. That's what is behind this notion that all paths lead to God, right? And so not only do we not need to be in judgment of ourselves when we chose hell, because let me tell you, for a bunch of my life in a bunch of different situations, I've left the shortening out of the pie crust and not had a great experience. But I still have the power to choose again. And it's so funny because a lot of times I think we don't choose again because of this thing that Brene Brown goes on about at length called shame. There is a part of us, like, we don't want to be wrong. We don't want to be seen as unworthy or inadequate, or somehow I made a choice that was not life affirming, so I'm bad. We move into this experience of denying the choices we've made because we don't want to feel the shame, or that we talked about it last week, the red cheekedness, right? Of knowing that we could have been wiser. And let's just take that out of the equation. I completely believe we choose as best we can choose in the moment we chose. Right here and now, right? That's what Jean was singing about earlier. We've landed in the place and in the time that is appropriate for our greatest deepening in spiritual understanding. And we can re-choose because all paths lead to God. Wow, I get to make a new pie. I think I'll put some shortening in this time. I think I'll put some filling in this pie this time. I think I won't put 2 tablespoons of salt in the apples. I'm going to put a half teaspoon of salt in the apples this time. That's going to give me a different experience of life. And you see, this is all about how do we choose to be with our choices, right? I can be in denial, in shame, in self-blame, or some of us blame others for our choices. Have you ever done that? I have. What's wrong with them? How dare they? Right. Well, I'm the one who not only chose, but I chose my response to the choosing. Yes? And I think it's really a riot when we have the same experience over and over and over again, and we're still blaming the one out there and forgetting to recognize that we're the ones having the same experience over and over and over again, attracting over and over and over again the same experience. And I have to say, it is always for the purpose of healing. We're going to attract the experience until we get it, because life is a healing journey. That's what we're doing. And so when I say both choices lead, both choosing heaven or choosing hell, they both lead to transformation. I'm saying that they both lead us to the next choice and the next choice and the next choice. And how do we choose to be with our choices? Do we choose self-love and self-transformation and transcendence of circumstances so that we can step boldly into being all that God would have us be? Or do we let ourselves get mired down in shame and blame and regret? How do you choose to be with your choices? See, this is all the path of transformation. When we renew our minds, we renew our lives. I'm so grateful that we know this. Now, just because we know it doesn't mean we always choose it, right? I mean, I know a lot of things, I know that if Patty brought me a maple bar from Top Pot the other day, and I knew if I ate that maple bar in the middle of my morning that I was going to crash and burn by 2 p.m. And I ate it anyway. It's like, sometimes we just do those things and we make those choices and then we have to live with those choices, right? And I can choose to, damn it, Patty, why did you bring me that donut? And blame something outside of me. Or I can say, wow, you know what? What a lovely thing. Your beloved thought to bring you a little present from while she was out and about. And you chose to eat it when you chose to eat it. I kind of hate that part sometimes, where we get to be responsible for our own choices. But this is the way of transformation. We must be responsible with how we are with the circumstances of life, because it is only when we take responsibility for the circumstances of our lives that we can transcend them. And I don't know about you, but I'm all about transcendence. I want to wake up to a more powerful way of living every single day of my life. It's that spiral, like you just never get there, right? I said last week, if you feel like, yeah, my life is pretty good, I'm doing all right, I don't really need to change anymore, that's fine. The world needs to change. So you get to now be an agent in the transformation of the world. So get out there and do the work on behalf of someone else if you feel like your work is done. And then that becomes your work. So this is the way of true transformation, individually and collectively. This is the way that we truly transform our lives and make the world a better place. And I have some ideas about, remember we talked up top about it's Thanksgiving week. We cultivate the consciousness of gratitude, and that becomes a causative force for greater good in our lives. And so how do we begin to plant the new seeds in consciousness that actually allow us to navigate these fields of transformation? such that, there's an outcome we want. There's a good pie. There's a pie that we actually want to eat, not a gluey mess. And I was thinking about this week, and I was thinking, the anchor for everything we ever talk about, and I should probably make this a preface to every message I ever give. The anchor is spiritual practice. That is where we just have to start every single time, because spiritual practice is what supports us in making the shift in consciousness. Spiritual practice is what anchors us in the infinite. In the book of Hebrews, Paul goes on about, you are an anchor for my soul. God is an anchor for our soul, safe and secure. What does an anchor do? It holds us in place. And we are the only ones who can drop anchor from our own boat. I'm drifting along in the waters of life. Hey, guy on the boat down the canal a little bit, would you please drop my anchor? No, he can't do that for you. You have to get up in the bow of your own boat, heft your own anchor over the side, make sure it gets well embedded in whatever you call the seabed or whatever. You're the only one who can do that. Only you can drop anchor, and we drop anchor by engaging in daily dedicated spiritual practice, our prayer, our meditation. The two biggest ones, giving, study, and service. The three backups, and let me just say, gratitude all by itself, a powerful spiritual practice, giving thanks every day. In our Gifts of Imperfection class, there was some work around like creating the gratitude jar where you drop a gratitude every day in it, you pull one out, and you reminding ourselves what we're grateful for, making a gratitude journal. I do a gratitude list every night. As I fall asleep every night, today I am grateful for, and I think through my day. What am I grateful for today? It's such a lovely way to kind of drift off to sleep, isn't it? Like I'm anchoring myself to God in the power of my spiritual practice every single night as I go to sleep. And so this is where it all begins, and it's, where it all ends. We have this opportunity to expand and grow in our conscious awareness through the power of spiritual practice. And if we always start there, if we seek first that kingdom of the infinite, all else is added unto us. So start with your spiritual practice. Start with prayer. Start with meditation. If you don't know how to do those things, we've got classes for you. We got lots of classes. We'll teach you how to do those things. You can get online. People will teach you how to do those things. Make sure you get a good teacher. Pray yourself up the right teacher. Only you can drop anchor in your life. Only you can allow yourself to settle into that secure, safe, anchored awareness for your soul. You are the one who can do that. And what a powerful thing we've been given. And we get to choose to do that, every single day. It's a choice. Am I going to pray and meditate this morning? Or am I going to flip on the TV? Am I going to go into my gratitude practice tonight? Or am I just going to skip it? You see, and I get to live. We're going all the way back to what I said. Both choices lead to transformation, because both choices take us somewhere that we can learn from. One choice is going to take me a lot longer than the other. And I get to re-choose every single day whether I am going to anchor in God or not. And I invite you to just go there first, because you can save yourself a lot of time and trouble by just doing that. And once we've done that, once we have anchored in our spiritual practice, we move into a greater consciousness, the consciousness of the infinite. We move into a consciousness of spirit. And I love this idea. You talked about, well, let's get in the spirit of the game, right? Let's get in the spirit of things. Well, you want to get in the spirit of things? Do a little spiritual practice. That'll put you in the spirit of things. And once you're in the spirit of things, once you're in the spirit of being willing to show up to whatever God has for you, change can happen. See, once we've anchored, then we must become willing to actually change. Oh, what? I have to be willing to grow? I have to be willing to change? I have to be willing to actually try putting some shortening in my pie crust next time? See, change is inevitable, right? It's inevitable. It's happening all around you right now. It's inevitable. Growth in the face of change, however, is optional. You don't have to. You can keep making that pie crust with no shortening over and over and over again. It's up to you. We're back to this idea we get to choose. The longer we make pie crust with no shortening, the longer we're going to get bad pie. Am I willing to try something new? And you know what? Maybe it's going to be, you know what? I don't think I'm willing to try shortening in my pie crust quite yet. I think I'll try sand in my pie crust. Try that. See how well that works. Then try the next thing. See how well that works. And, you know, eventually it's kind of like, you know, when I was learning to make pie crust, I had to try, you know, I tried the butter version of pie crust. I tried the water version. I tried the milk version. It's like I tried a lot of different recipes until I settled on the one that I like. And for the last 10 years, I have a terrific pie crust recipe. It's from America's Test Kitchen. If anybody wants it, I'm happy to share it with you. But I was willing to try different recipes until I found the one that actually works for me. We have to be willing to change. And we have to demonstrate that willingness. You know, it's not enough just to say, oh yeah, I'm willing to change. I'm good. I'm willing. I'm good. We actually have to do something that demonstrates to the universe that we are willing to change. Clean out a drawer. Anybody got a junk drawer in your house? Go clean it out. Like, universe, I'm willing to change, and I'm going to demonstrate my willingness to change by cleaning out this closet. Oh my God, I've got a closet that's been driving me crazy for 5 years. Like, am I willing to just go clean out the closet and demonstrate to the universe my willingness to change? Am I willing to just take a different route to work or a different route on the dog walk? Am I willing to actually do something different? Try a new recipe. You see, we show the universe our willingness to change by doing something small. And then we go, oh yeah, wow, it feels really good to have that junk drawer cleaned out. Or that worked really well, so what do I want to go do next? Because I feel great about this. And we just begin to show that we are willing to change. And remember that notion, God meets us where we are, right? And by evidencing our willingness to change, the universe is like, okay, good, here we are. Now we're shaking hands. Now we're making an edible pie together. So become willing to change. The challenge sometimes with the idea of being willing to change is we also have to be willing to lose. Like, we also have to be willing to look foolish to make another bad pie crust. I made a lot of bad pie crust when I was trying out different recipes and different methods. We have to be willing to lose. We have to be willing to, oh wow, that didn't work very well. Silly me. There was something in the Daring Greatly reading this week, excuse me, that it was about Anything worth doing is worth failing at. I'm not saying it exactly correctly, but it's something like that. Anything worth doing is worth failing at. So you do it anyway. So what if you fail? Failing is only bad if we are mired in that blame and shame and guilt, in that hell of blame and shame and guilt. That's the only time that failing is bad. Or we could make another bad pie crust. That didn't work so well. Let me try a new recipe, or let me try a new technique. Let me do it a new way. I'm going to put shortening in this time. I'm going to try this approach. Not from a place of blame, self-denigration. That is not what God is about. God is love. God is omnipotent, omnipresent, all beingness. Remember, the dark side and the good side is the one side. So we have to be willing to lose, in addition to being willing to change. And we have to be willing to win. For some of us, that's even harder, isn't it? We have to be willing to win. We have to be willing to have an experience of good in our lives without pushing it away. In Daring Greatly, she talks about foreboding joy. And she gives the example of when her kids were little, you know, like she just loved them so much, and she would go into the room and she would watch them sleeping, and her heart would just fill up with so much love and joy. And then her mind would fill up with imagining all the awful things that could happen to them. And she calls that feeling foreboding joy. And she's a researcher, and she did some research, and fully 70% of the people that she asked said, yes, I do this phenomenon called foreboding joy in my head. I allow my imagination to run away to the other shoe is going to drop. And you know what? That's an affirmation. That is a consciousness. And remember, consciousness is creative. And cultivating that willingness to win is rooted in not just loving ourselves, but loving ourselves as God loves us. Remembering that we are here to embody the consciousness, the beingness of God more and more fully all the time. And when we anchor in self-love, when we drop that anchor in self-love, all we're doing is loving us as God loves us. That's it. We don't need to be waiting for the other shoe to drop, to be thinking about, yeah, it's good right now, but then there's tomorrow. You see, and this is all tied up in that idea of we get to choose how we're going to be with our choices, right? We get to choose. And we can choose foreboding joy. We can choose other shoes going to drop. We can choose, well, this is good, but it's not quite enough. We can choose a pie without shortening, or we can choose to know the spiritual truth of us as we walk the path of transformation as best we can. So breathe with me right now. Dick says, the sooner you have a good teacher, the sooner you can make a good pie. Isn't that right? Isn't that a powerful idea? Oh. Mandy says, yeah, I've been resisting change recently, but I know I have the power to choose. You absolutely do. And there is a part of us, you know, we don't want to abandon the known, because there is some part of us that believes that the known is secure. But really the known is just known. That's all. And conditions and circumstances, as secure in some ways as they may make us temporarily feel, they have no permanence. God and God alone is real. Anchor in God. Be willing to be transformed. Be willing to lose. Be willing to win. And allow yourself to live the life that God would have you live. And so let's turn within and seal this message as we breathe effortlessly and easily. And we feel the breath moving in and out of our bodies, sustaining us, lifting us, inspiring us. And on the next in-breath, just drop anchor. Drop anchor into the center of the beingness of the living one, the infinite. And that which is all there is. And that which is the ultimate place of refuge and safety. And anchored in God. Begin to see yourself walking this path of life, choosing wisely, choosing love, choosing awakening, choosing positive intent, choosing all the good that life has for us. And as you see yourself walking this path, affirm to yourself right now, I am willing to change. I am open and available to the universal mind, the universal presence, and all the good. That this heart and beingness of God has for me in life. I am willing to choose heaven. I am willing to change. And breathe into that awareness for a moment. As you say to yourself, now I'm willing to lose, for I know that losing is only an illusion. Life is shortening and flour and sugar and salt. I know that my life is a full embodiment of what may appear to be failure and what may appear to be winning. And that it is all just a recipe for wholeness. For I am willing to be present to what is and to learn and to grow from it. And breathe into this affirmation, this awareness. And say to yourself, now I am willing to win. I stand confidently in my bold assertion that I am perfect, whole, and complete. That I am worthy. That I am a powerful emanation of the spirit of all life. And I am willing to walk in that awareness. Confidently and boldly in the direction of my dreams. And as you continue to see yourself walking this path of life, know that you are a great and infinite wholeness. That there is nothing in you or as you outside of the mind and heart of God, for you are created in its image and likeness. And you feel it and you know it. It permeates every corner of your mind, every cell in your body. Anchor in this. For this is the truth of your being. And so I close this message with a grateful heart. I know that we have indeed been transformed this day by the renewing of our minds. And so it is. Amen.
Steps lightly into the world, starts her day as a quiet girl. She learns there's no need to hide away, no reason to keep locked inside. Go your own way, do what you do, believe in yourself, you're seeking the truth. You're beautiful and bright as the moon, you found a way to fly. You spoke for yourself, you stood for us all. There's beauty in that, even if you fall. The world's a better place, we're rooting for you. Go out and sing your own song. Go your own way, do what you do, believe in yourself, you're finding the truth. You're beautiful and bright as the moon, you found a way to fly. And you found a way to shine.
Thank you, Jean Mann. This is Jean Palmatier. I'm your board host for today, and hello, Unity of Bellevue. I really, just being conscious about gratitude, knowing consciousness is cause, giving thanks, knowing that it's already happened, spiritual practice. What an applicable lead-in for this time of the service when we focus our belief on giving as a spiritual practice, especially this Thanksgiving week. Your spiritual practice of giving financially to Unity of Bellevue allows this center to affirm our community's abundance, as well as yours individually, and also allows us to support our mission, which is awakening people and transforming the world, our vision, advancing spiritual awakening and transformation throughout the Puget Sound region, and promotes our values of love, service, spirituality, integrity, and joy. So thank you for fulfilling your 2021 pledge. And if you haven't done a pledge for 2022 yet, please take a few minutes and fill out the online form, which can be found under giving on our website. However, if you're new to our community, we really don't want you to feel obligated to contribute. If you're moved to do so, that's okay. The ways are on the screen. But what we really want you to do is thank you for coming. We are really, really grateful that you're here, and we want you to connect with us in a way that feels right to you. In a few moments, you'll hear our announcements, which will tell you all the different ways that you can connect with us. Please just keep coming back and connect with our community. In this consciousness of great abundance, circulation, and sincere gratitude, please join me in our blessing affirmation. I give freely and for the joy of giving. I know that seeds sown in love produce an overflowing harvest of good for me, for this center, and for all people. Lovingly I give, and joyfully I receive. And so it is.
And with a grateful heart, I do speak a word of blessing on the gift, on the giver, on all the beauty that is unfolding, the abundant nature of the divine unfolding as the center right here and right now. I consecrate these gifts to the good use of this community and to the good use of the recipients of our tithe for as we practice the spiritual practice of giving. God is good. All is well. And so it is. Amen.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Monica McDowell Elvig. I am your center administrator. We are so grateful you are here with us this morning. If you are visiting with us for the first time, we welcome you. We open our hearts to you. We invite you to go to our website, unityofbellevue.org, and look around and see everything that's happening with our center online. The best way to stay in touch with everything that's happening is to sign up for our weekly e-newsletter. At the bottom of every page on our website is a sign-up form for that newsletter. We'd love to hear from you. The exciting news is that in 2 weeks, Sunday, December 5th, we are not going to be completely online. We're moving to hybrid services. We'll be in person and live streaming from the sanctuary. That means no more Zooming. We'll be live streaming to Facebook, to YouTube, to our website. More details to come about that. But just know that we will have in-person and live streaming options, and we're so looking forward to those offerings. Also, because we are live streaming, we are looking for more volunteers for that tech team. Daniel is spearheading that team and spearheading getting us set up for that live stream technology. So if you would like to be on his tech team, reach out to him, danielm@unityofbellevue.org. The link should be in the chat. He would love to hear from you. That first Sunday, December 5th, we're also going to have a holiday open house. We invite you to come and shop at our arts and crafts tables, do some holiday gift buying, and just enjoy the new remodeled bookstore. Today, after service, we'll take a 3-minute break and then just stay online for our virtual prayer circle. Susan Neidig is our prayer chaplain this morning. She'll be leading us in a powerful time of prayer together. You can also send any prayer requests to prayerchaplains@unityofbellevue.org. This Wednesday at 1 p.m. is Living What Matters online. It's our weekly free drop-in group. We're going through the Book of Soul by Mark Nepo. We're learning a new spiritual practice each week. Everyone is welcome, whether you've come before or not, whether you have the book or not, so join us for that. Also, we're taking a small group survey right now. We're wanting to know what your preferences are for days and times and a focus of topics, those kinds of things. It'll only take a minute or two to fill out the survey. The link is in the chat. We'd love to get that feedback. Thank you. It's the stewardship season. All the stewardship materials have been mailed out. You can fill out your pledge form online. The link is in the chat. If you did not get a mailing and you would like to, please email me, info@unityofbellevue.org. You can mail everything back as well, including your intentions. We'd love to get more intentions from you for the 2022 year. Also, we are selling our e-cookbooks again. It was a Divine Dining fundraiser last year. Some of you are new and didn't get an opportunity. You can do a $10 donation per download, or you can buy it directly on Amazon. It's holiday time, so it's a great opportunity to get some new recipes and use them from our own Unity community family. Thanks, everyone. Have a great week. Have a happy Thanksgiving. I'll see you next week.
Yay, it worked. Recorded announcements. I'm so excited. Hey, I want to say 2 things. One is make sure you get your intentions mailed into us. If you did not get little strips in a package or in the mail, that's okay. You can email Monica at info@unityofbellevue.org and she will mail some out to you with some instructions how to write your intentions. Those are starting to come back in. We're going to create a chain of intentions for our entire community. So make sure you get that sent back into us soon. Frankly, the light of God is shining right in on my forehead right now, and I'm feeling like that's a sign, and I'm super grateful for it. I don't know what it's a sign of, but something. The other thing I want to say is it is never too late to join the Wednesday Living What Matters group. We meet every Wednesday at 1 p.m. We have only about 6 meetings left, I think. But it is a drop-in group, and you are welcome. We've been meeting all year long. I hope you will join us online this Wednesday at 1 p.m. for Living What Matters. All right, that's all I've got. Stick around for prayer circles. Susan wants to pray with you and for you. Have a great week, everybody. See you soon. Many blessings. Bye. Oh, wait, we have one more song. I'm sorry. Sorry, Jean, I don't mean to leave you out there. Jean. We have one more song. Go, girl.
Oh, hurry. No.
It's okay. You got plenty of time, girlfriend. I know that. You go. We want your song.
All right. It's been such a joy to share my time with all of you and share your time with me. And this is called Nothing in the Way. Looking down the stream, far as the eye can see, nothing in the way, nothing in the fray. You fly and fly back to a simple time, no reason and no rhyme for doing what you do, no fussing round the coop. You smile and smile. And one hard breath and you're caught in the wind, holding court with hearth and kin. Your mind reels back, a fish on a line, flopping round fighting against the tide. You try and try. Stories in the bookcase, hidden between the words, sparking memories, bringing you to your knees. You cry and cry. Heartache holds its own, a tether on your soul, shining ever bright while holding on so tight. You try and try. The duct tape trunk holding all your life, glue gun weak after all this time. The hardest thing is to let it go. Love comes round when you let it flow. You try, it's there, it's there. Looking down the stream, far as the eye can see, nothing in the way, nothing in the fray. You fly and fly. You fly and fly. You fly and fly. You fly.
Have a great week, everybody.
Today I'm grateful. Today I'm grateful. Today Today I'm grateful for every little thing.